That kind of person around you is when he faces tremendous pressure he can solve problems with ease and proficiency. This is because he possesses what most people lack, the ability to coexist with stress. This ability is regarded as the most important quality for success. With this ability, you can also face a huge amount of pressure, solve problems calmly and without internal conflict. This will make you a person who has weathered storms. So today we're going to share 5 methods to maintain strength under pressure. There's a popular saying going around recently, which goes, suffering is not worth glorifying. Actually, I also don't think suffering is worth glorifying. Hardship is simply an unavoidable part of life. Everyone will experience various kinds of hardships, especially outstanding individuals. You can look at the path taken by these remarkable individuals, it is almost filled with pain. But you endure the same pain, you might not necessarily become an extraordinary person, right? You might also become a depraved person. The key difference lies in, do you have a way to transform this pressure, turn it into a stepping stone? Today I'm going to share these 5 methods with everyone. It can help you transform the pressure. They are the antelope and the lion, partial control, and the power of nature. Let's start with the first one, the gazelle and the lion. Let me ask you a question. For example, you can now imagine a scenario. There is a lion chasing a gazelle. Which one do you think is under pressure between the two of them? The antelope, but actually the lion is also under pressure. Both of them are under pressure. The lion thinks that if I don't catch it, I'll lose a big meal. It's like seeing $1 million running ahead of you. For example, if I ask you to shout, I am on the street right now, I'll give you 5 million. Would you go? There's pressure involved here, right? It seems like I'm threatening you, but many people might think it's actually a good thing. This is called lion's pressure. Then what is the antelope's pressure? The pressure of a gazelle is like, I'm about to die, I feel threatened, so I feel stressed. He can generate tremendous motivation. But if he remains in a threatened state for a long time, he becomes so consumed by anxiety and internal friction that he can't accomplish anything, he simply gave up, he just squats there, was carried away by the lion. So what does this story tell us? Pressure can be good or bad. You can transform many things, just transform it into the pressure from a lion. That is to say, when stress comes, you can think about it. If you solve this current trouble, what you can gain? Can you catch that antelope when you clearly know that after this pressure is resolved, your rewards, you immediately gain the courage to face this pressure? Because your brain focuses on the positive side, the aspect of desire, he forgets about the negative side. In fact, any pressure has 2 sides. If you look at it negatively, you'll feel like going hungry again today, can't catch the antelope. It's so painful. You become increasingly negative. When stress hits many people, it's all about the pressure from the antelopes. When this pressure comes, he feels like he can't solve this problem. The lion is threatening me again. I've lost everything. I'm doomed again. You can't look at it this way. You should look at what I can gain by solving it. Just look at it the opposite way, and you'll be fine. Besides, there is another type of person who is quite strange. He doesn't have the pressure of a gazelle, there is no pressure from the lion, but he still feels a lot of pressure. This is entirely a case of unnecessarily putting pressure on yourself. It makes no sense at all. For example, when you see someone with a luxury car, and then you envy him, you see another lion eating an antelope, you feel stressed. What does that have to do with you? Because in your world, there is no gazelle you need to chase right now. You wait until that gazelle appears, you go after it. It's okay to feel stressed at this point. So don't regard what others have as what you should possess. It's better to focus on the present. Your opportunity will come eventually. So the second method is called the protagonist mindset. What is the protagonist mindset? Zhuangzi once said, "To know what is unavoidable and to accept it as destiny is the perfection of virtue, the pinnacle of virtue." What does it mean? That is to say, if you know that the current environment you're in is beyond your control, you know you've come to this point, is a series of inevitable outcomes. The best thing you can do at this moment is to accept your fate with equanimity. To be content with one's lot does not mean resigning to fate. He accepts his own fate, that is, he enjoys his own fate. This is the mindset of a protagonist. You see many people always saying things like "my life is up to me, not fate." What is the premise of saying this? The premise is that you believe your fate is not good. You would then say, "I must change my fate." Actually, that's not the case. Think about it for a moment. That is to say, my fate is not determined by the heavens. Then you changed your fate. Isn't that also within the realm of fate? To put it simply, you used to be under a lot of pressure, you are now relaxed, but the reason you feel at ease, because you've been under pressure before. For example, when we go to watch a film or a TV show, can the protagonist in there have a smooth journey? What's the point if everything goes smoothly for him and it's not like the author is deliberately torturing the protagonist? It's not that you want to become an extraordinary person, you definitely have to go through a lot of trials. Even if you're just a viewer, when the protagonist goes through suffering, do you feel sorry for him? You would think that through this plot, finally able to understand a truth, right? After the protagonist grows from the pressure, you feel quite gratified. For example, when you watch The Truman Show, you just want Truman to face even more pressure as soon as possible, his friends betray him a little more, this way you can gain freedom. So actually you can think about the problem this way. So if you were the director, before you came to Earth, you wrote a script for yourself. You definitely want this script to be exciting. You want to make yourself understand a truth, you must have arranged corresponding experiences. You don't consider how difficult it is while you're going through it, because you have a God's eye view, you are looking at the final outcome. So when you encounter pressure, you should think about, this experience is something I gave myself, because I am the protagonist, so I'm bound to face pressures that ordinary people can't withstand, and I will definitely overcome it. I can win this challenge. The pressure experienced by the protagonist is certainly greater than that of ordinary people. If even the devil doesn't consider you an enemy, that means you're not even worth noticing. If you think this way, you will make courageous decisions that a protagonist should make when under pressure. For example, you're now experiencing a blow that ordinary people can hardly endure. At this point, if you can still find the courage to face it, what do you think you rely on? It actually relies on the fact that you have received abundant love, you believe the world is still beautiful, it's not always bad. Secondly, it comes from your past, where you have many beautiful memories. You believe the future will be good. Thirdly, you may think this matter is not necessarily a bad thing, as we mentioned at the very beginning. Have you read some celebrity autobiographies? You know that after the storm comes the sunshine. When a bad thing comes, it will deplete the ammunition in your arsenal, it will deplete the money you have in the bank. Then this ammunition refers to all these beautiful things in your heart. It will make you more resilient. So that when something bad happens, when stress comes, he won't be crushed instantly, because his parents gave him abundant love from childhood, gave him self-affirmation. So he can withstand the pressure. These may be things we cannot fix, but you can still make repairs in other areas. For example, in your daily life. Simply put, for example, when you were a child, you were able to endure the pressure of school. Why is that? Because you think that after class, I have a delicious meal at noon, right after school, I went out to play with my friends, I chatted on my way home, chatting about this and that is very joyful. So I wanted to go to school. If you notice that some children don't want to go to school, it's because of these things that he collapsed. He has nothing to look forward to. He doesn't want to go to school anymore. So your love for the world must not disappear, such as gaming, exercise or shopping. Writing can also be considered. It's something that can make you look forward to the future. The best scenario is having a good partner, something that can make you look forward to the future. All count. Pay attention to having a good partner, not a couple that drains each other. There's a saying that goes, first establish a family, then build a career. Because after you start a family, you'll have responsibilities, right? Some responsibilities can bring people great happiness, rather than feeling burdensome. Many people feel burdened when fulfilling their responsibilities. The reason is that he is dissatisfied with the current situation. He has no expectations for the future, he would feel exhausted. You find someone who can give you strength, you are willing to strive for them. The fourth one is called partial control. Actually, many people feel stressed because he wants everything, want to control everything. Many people in their careers or in interpersonal relationships, he doesn't want to miss any opportunity, so he attends every drinking party, he attends every invitation from friends, because he is afraid of losing everything. So he was under a lot of pressure. In other words, the more things you want to grasp, the greater your pressure will be. Actually, you'll find that many outstanding individuals, smart people, they all share one characteristic, it's that the things they choose to control must be carefully selected by themselves, believed to provide sustained value to oneself, and things that can help them find strength. They call this what? Called one's own business. They hold on to other things very lightly. Once you do this, you'll find that your stress can actually make you better. Why is that? Because the stress generated by a certain matter is called acute stress. This acute stress helps enhance your performance. For example, in the hour before the deadline, you haven't finished the work. At this moment, the amount of work you can accomplish in this single hour equals what you normally do in 3 hours, and when you look at it, you'll find the quality is even better. What's truly terrifying is, it's chronic stress. Chronic stress is when I want everything, but it seems like I can't do anything right now. So we have to try each one. This is the most exhausting. Therefore, you must identify those few things worth your control, things worth your effort, and appropriately decline some unnecessary social engagements. There are many things you don't need to participate in. As long as people focus their energy on important things, he is able to embrace change, because he has enough energy to deal with these changes. So the last method is called the power of nature. Now you can recall, have you ever had that moment where, you've been climbing the mountain for a long time, extremely tired, but when you reach the mountaintop, you see a very beautiful scenery. At that moment, you forget all the tiredness. Right, your heart opens up instantly. Actually, when you become one with nature, at that moment, it pulls you out of the grip of anxiety. It helps you return to reality. You can clearly feel the wind, it's blowing against your face. Right at that moment, you feel like you're in the present moment, and when you have this feeling, you are essentially recharging yourself. A lot of stress in your heart is automatically relieved. At that moment, it had already vanished. When you return to your daily life, your mental resilience, that is to say, your rubber band is brand new again. Although it may still bend, but its resilience has been reset to zero, it has reset again, you regain the strength to face life again. Moreover, the brain tends to perform worse the more anxious you become. When you are under greater pressure, the decision you make is completely wrong, your thinking becomes increasingly narrow, fear will make people become increasingly narrow-minded, narrower and narrower. Therefore, people should regularly go out and interact with nature. This interaction with nature, it doesn't mean asking you to go mountain climbing, to do something challenging, rather, it lets you use the most comfortable way to. For example, if you have a car to drive, just drive then. If you can take a cable car, then take a cable car. You put yourself in the most comfortable state, arrive at the most comfortable place. You don't have to conquer nature, you just need to feel it, just interact with it, it will purify you. Okay, after saying all this, I think we can finally use a quote from Nietzsche to summarize how to deal with stress. A person knows what he lives for, he can endure any kind of life. Therefore, finding out what we live for, is the lifelong homework. Only this power, it can help us cope with the uncertainties of fate. Finally, I wish you all the ability to overcome every difficulty as it comes. See you next time.